What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to the Blazers Uprise post-game show on an eventful day in the NBA, including in Blazerland, as Jae Crowder has made a move. Josh Hart is no longer a Portland Trailblazer. Cam Reddish apparently is now, unless the Blazers elect to flip him between now and 12 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. We'll have a trade deadline stream tomorrow starting in between 8 and 8:30 in the morning. We'll have graphics for that. Should be a lot of fun. Hopefully you come and hang out with us and make us a part of your day tomorrow with the trade deadline. But we can talk a little bit more about this trade, but we just did an entire stream on this trade that you can watch back, after this stream or in the future. Or instead of this one if you really want to. But we're going to recap this game a little bit. The Blazers beat the Warriors 125-122. Good win against Golden State. Had some good moments. Eric's going to be mostly solo for this one as I have to finish tying things up for tomorrow. But I just wanted to, kick this thing off. And especially because this postgame show is brought to you by Bet Online. Use that promo code BELIEVE for 50% rewards. If you want to get in on some fun, get in on some action for any sport you want, I hope you use Bet Online. They've been phenomenal for us all year long, and you got all sorts of things: parlays, live betting, NASCAR, golf, boxing, NBA, NFL, Super Bowl coming up, of course. So use that promo code BELIEVE for a 50% reward bonus. Also, next Monday, the Blazers will be playing the Lakers. That's going to be an eventful game. Might be Cam Reddish's Blazer debut or the Blazer debut for other guys the Blazers potentially acquire at this deadline. And you'll also be able to see the new look Los Angeles Lakers. You can watch that game with us live as we're hosting a live in-person watch party at Alberta Abbey in North Portland. There's a link to tickets down in the description box below. Would love to meet some more of you guys. We had a great turnout last time. Hoping to see some of the same faces that were there again. And we're doing a live post-game show from the venue right after that as well, after the Blazers play the Lakers. So hopefully you come and, meet us, hang out with us. The food there is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. They got food. They'll have a bar there. Lots of fun. And then the Sunday before, that venue is also hosting a Super Bowl watch party. So if you want to, want somewhere to watch the Super Bowl, I'll be there. You can come watch it with me if you want. That'd be cool to hang out with some of you guys and watch the Super Bowl. So go to albertaabbey.org for tickets to the Super Bowl watch party. For tickets to the Blazers Uprise watch party on Monday, check out the link in the description box below. Anyway, Eric, what's up? Long time no see.
Yeah. As Elias's $2 donation also says, long time no see. Thank you, Elias. And we got the Jordan Baker $5 GG hippopotamus sticker. Let's go.
We got
always
it early
always
today.
Love the wins, so we get that sticker and Jordan in here watching. So thank you, guys.
Yep, and the Blazers got a good win today, Eric, after a Hart trade right before tip-off, and, we did a whole stream on that, so at the end of this, we'll answer some questions, but, the Blazers won a game today. Good for them, a game below 500, and they have a chance to get back to 500 at home against the Oklahoma City Thunder in a couple of days. That's good.
Avenge our 2 losses to them in OKC earlier this season.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That'd be good.
Yep. So, anyway, Eric's going to solo this thing, chat. I still got some graphics and stuff to work on. I'll probably hop in here or there to maybe touch upon things. Like I'm a producer, that barely talks on the mic, but will occasionally pop himself in. That's basically what I'm going to be for this stream. If you hear random computer noises, don't worry about it. That's going to be the post-game show for today. We still want to do a separate post-game stream instead of, lumping it completely onto the Josh Hart trade stream. So here we are. Anyway, Eric, have fun. Don't get too rowdy. Or do, because that's always fun too. Anyway.
All right, what's up, everyone? How is everyone doing tonight? Glad to have you here. Thank you for joining us on the show. I think I'm just going to talk about the game a little bit, and then obviously we'll get into more about the Josh Hart trade and all that in a minute. Let's just get the game out of the way so we don't have to focus on that, and then we'll talk about everything else. So as of right now, the Blazers, just making sure all the other games went final tonight. The Blazers, with the Jazz loss, have actually moved up into 10th spot in the West standings. So we're now a play-in team. Yay. And if the season ended today, we'd be playing the Warriors in that 9-10 matchup for the right to play the loser of the Pelicans and Timberwolves for the 9th seed, or for the 8th seed, and the chance to play Denver in the first round. Um, so, yeah, we'd have to beat Golden State and then either New Orleans or Minnesota, and then we'd have another playoff series against the Denver Nuggets and one Nikola Jokic. Fun times. Yeah, so unfortunately for us, though, the Lakers got a little better today without having to give up a ton. So I feel like they're going to be someone that we're going to have a tough time keeping up with in the standings unless we make a big move tomorrow. So yeah, I don't know if we're going to be able to hold on to the playoff spot without another follow-up move beside this trade, but we'll talk about that more later. As for the game, man, Damian Lillard triple-double. I think he finished with 33 points. Yeah, 33 points, 11 assists, 10 rebounds. Great game from him. He was our leading rebounder. Watford had 8 off the bench. Shaden Sharp actually had 7 rebounds. We need everyone to help with the rebounds tonight, or now that we don't have Josh Hart, because if it's Reddish coming back, he's not a good rebounder either. So we're going to have a lot of issues with rebounding, especially until post All-Star break when we get Nurkic back, if he's even on the team anymore after tomorrow as well. But yeah, I thought the starting lineup looked like it had a little more juice tonight. Didn't really sometimes I just like to ignore the score. I know it was close. But I just kind of like to see how the game is flowing. And I think it flowed well with Gary Payton out there. So maybe that's something they can do more of now that Hart's gone, at least until, or assuming they don't get a better small forward here. The only thing I worry about with Gary Payton starting is if he's still on a minutes restriction and can only play 6 minutes and then has to sit out the rest of the half, then you pretty much get yourself in a situation where you either can't play crunch minutes, or if you bring him in situationally like they did tonight and he makes a sudden movement or something, is it possible he's going to injure himself after sitting for that long? So the minutes restriction and then starting and then sitting for a while on the bench. I mean, he has resorted to using the bike a lot on the bench. But yeah, maybe it's just starter. He just started tonight because it was the Warriors. Oh, we got a trade. Jakob Poeltl is going to the Toronto Raptors. Let me bring up, was it Woj or Shams, guys?
Can we wait till tomorrow? Is tomorrow just going to be a buzzkill? I just popped in here. I heard trade.
All right.
I popped in here.
So the Toronto Raptors just got Jakob Poeltl for Khem Birch, who's basically a negative contract, protected 2024 first and 2 future seconds.
So they're not trading OG or Pascal?
I mean, they might still trade OG because he wants out, but wow.
Okay, well, huh.
So, yeah, they just got their center. So now, I mean, obviously, that was one of the teams that if you thought a team needed a center that could possibly be interested in Nurkic, that they're not an option now. I'm kind of surprised the Spurs did that. I heard you mention this earlier while I was gone, Tori. When teams trade with other teams multiple years in a row. Oh no, that was on your trade
on my video. On NBA Uprise. Subscribe to NBA Uprise.
It's all meshing together because I watched it right before you actually texted me while I was watching your video right before the Blazer game.
Yeah.
But anyways, so in that, Tori mentioned that look for teams that have done deals in the past to hook up again because they have a familiarity and they've already felt comfortable making a deal with each other. So last year, Toronto gives up a first for a high second, and Thaddeus Young and Drew Eubanks, who they cut. And then, so it ended up they only moved down like 12 spots in the draft to get Thaddeus Young. And now this year they do it again. That seems like a price the Blazers could have done now. Maybe, like if you were talking realistic, if you wanted Nurk gone and you wanted a replacement, I mean, Jakob Poeltl went for a package we could have easily matched salary, and now we have a first-round pick, and we have multiple seconds we could have traded. So,
Nurkic isn't getting traded. I mean, that's what we've been saying for a while. Like, it's not. I wouldn't count on it. I'd be shocked.
So yeah, that's a move that. Jakob Poeltl also goes back to the. To where he began his career. He was drafted by the Raptors, and he was part of the Kawhi Leonard trade, another trade between the Raptors and the Spurs. DJ Vegas says Nurk hater is not going to be sleeping well tonight. How mad if you want a Nurk gone is that going to look that they gave up Poeltl for just a protected first and second, something that we now have that we could have matched. Because I believe Keon and Winslow matched the contract, and I think Kem Birch still has a year left on his contract, if I'm not mistaken. Winslow's an expiring, and Keon's obviously a better, younger player. So, they could have done something like that. So, could have gotten a cheap center replacement, could have dealt Nurk, and then be done with him if that's the plan. So, for all you people who don't think he had a chance to get rid of Nurk, that's now two chances. One, he re-signed him to begin with. he could have moved on from Nurk this last summer. And two, now he failed to get Jakob Poeltl, who went for a fairly decent price. So, or a fairly acquirable price if you were Cronin. So, now, Poeltl, I mean, that's a great fit for Toronto, I think. They've needed kind of a center, and I think he's going to fit in well with that roster. I think, assuming they keep Siakam, I think him and Siakam are a great 4-5. I think, I still think they need to add some guard depth. This trade obviously doesn't address that at all, but this is a case where I think Toronto got better. So maybe that's your answer. People were saying all day that they were waiting on Toronto to kind of get rid of the plug in the bathtub to have some trades go down. But there's a couple trades today without Toronto, and now we see them make a move that seems to signify them trying to get better and keeping the team together versus blowing it up.
What's with teams trading for players they used to have today? You got D'Angelo Russell going back to the Lakers. Also, D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, and Jared Vanderbilt all played together last season. Because, of course, Beasley and Vanderbilt got traded from the Timberwolves to the Jazz. And then you got Poeltl going back to the Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
So we're bringing back...
Dinwiddie back to the Nets.
Yeah, Dinwiddie back to the Nets, dude. That's insane, actually. Dinwiddie back to the Nets. I completely forgot about that, too. So who are we bringing back, Eric? Will Barton. That's who we're bringing back.
Yeah, I've been calling that for weeks.
Yeah,
that's going to be our big buyout player. I would love to get Zach Collins back. Yeah, that would be my number one choice, I think.
That'd be dope.
Nurk to the Nuggets, George. The Nuggets are going to trade for Nurk back. I think he was just playing off that.
Yeah. No, that's funny.
Yeah. Please not.
Oh God, yeah.
Plumlee.
Oh,
Mario Hezonja. Nurk for Jokic.
Anyway, this conversation, I'm actually going to go now.
All right. Yeah.
Because somebody brought up Mario Hezonja, and I don't want to be here anymore. So goodbye.
CJ Ellaby. Yeah, so that's a big move for Toronto. I mean, I still think they might trade OG, but if you think about it, it might be more for I think it might be more for a win now player. So maybe it's to the I know the Nets have been involved with an OG thing. Um so yeah. What would you give up for Zach? I mean, our options are kind of limited. So I don't know what we could have done. Oh, you know what sucks though? If we would have done this Hart trade on Monday, uh, we could have possibly had if we did the same exact trade on Monday, we get a $13 million trade exception instead of a $7 million one, and that brings us to get Zach. I think he makes a little too much for what this trade exception. I think he's a little over 7 million, so we're not going to quite be able to absorb him. But now that the Spurs traded their starting center, I don't know. I don't think they're going to now trade another center unless they're getting one back. But they wouldn't want Eubanks back. But there we go. The Eubanks back to the Spurs. Um, and then, but Eubanks actually has a no trade clause, so he can actually decline that because why wouldn't he? Uh, yeah. Daniel says Winslow getting minutes when he comes back. Eric Gold says OS, really? Yep. So the way that works, so Eubanks has now signed 2 years for the minimum. So Portland actually has his early bird rights this summer, which means that in the offseason, they can offer him a contract up to, it's a little over $10 million or something like that, depending on what the cap ends up being, without using their mid-level exception. So the Blazers can actually re-sign him for up to $10 million. But if he gets traded, he's on a 1-year contract, so he would only have no bird rights. So the other team, like let's just say he went back to the Spurs, um, they would only be able to offer him either a minimum contract, a use their MLE or whatever to re-sign him, or they'd have to have cap space or whatever. So this is what happened to the Blazers after their Western Conference Finals run. They had Rodney Hood, who they traded for, who was on a 1-year contract, had veto power. I'm pretty sure we promised him that we'd take care of him, and that's why we re-signed him after tearing his Achilles a couple years later. So basically, we had to choose between Hood, Curry, and Cantor in terms of what they could use the tax mid-level exception on. So we ended up signing Hood, which turned out to be the right thing. He was really good that next season until tearing his Achilles. So it's just unfortunate that he got hurt. But so that happened, and then yeah, we actually offered Cantor, I think, and then that's when him and Dame had that beef, and then he said he kind of like hesitated to take it, so then we said no, and then I think he ended up signing for the minimum. Oh yeah, don't forget Jake Layman too. Um, but yeah, so it basically be that case. So whatever team Eubanks goes to, if they don't have cap space or like promise to re-sign him or whatever, using the MLE, he would probably think he's going to get screwed. And with how much the Blazers love him, he'd probably be giving up not only a lot of money, but maybe even a chance to have a rotation spot. So unfortunately, I don't see Eubanks really accepting any trades. I feel like he kind of would owe us for giving him a chance the last 2 years, but yeah, I think that's kind of who had beef with Dame. It was so apparently Cantor came out. Cantor, I don't know. He said he had a few minutes to decide and kind of hesitated and asked for 45 minutes or something, and Dame called him out and said that he had more time than that, or so. I don't really remember the exact thing, but he basically called him out and said he was a liar, and then because Dame was, I guess, in the room or something, and then the thing I always said about that is Cantor knew when he signed here, the moment he signed here, him and his agent knew what the Blazers' best offer for him in free agency was. We were never going to have more than the tax mid-level exception, which was like 5.7 million or something that year, if I recall correctly. And so he had known for like 3 months what our offer was going to be. So I didn't like anything he said, like, oh, they came with this offer and I didn't know what to do to accept it or not. That's all BS, man. He had 3 months to decide whether he was going to accept that offer or not. And then we offered it to him, I guess. And then he's like, oh, I don't know. I'm going to see what else is out there. And he ended up costing himself some money because I don't think he might have signed for the biannual exception or something with Boston, but it wasn't as much as he would have signed here. But yeah. So yeah, Jakob Poeltl is a Toronto Raptor once again. Interesting. That's a great pickup for them. You would think that they would be planning on re-signing him now. But yeah, I don't think you give up a first if you're not willing to re-sign him. Much like, the KD, no way.
No way.
What the heck is going on? We might just be streaming all night at this point.
Bro, no way, dude.
Holy moly. Flex was right all along, Tori.
Shut up. We're screwed. We're screwed. Like, why even trying to contend? Why even just, like, let's just blow it up, dude.
No, dude. The only thing, if they gave up Mikal, this is how Cronin saves it.
He's not going to save it, though.
Get Mikal Bridges, please. I think he's a more perfect fit than New Sham's tweet. Mikal is in it. Come on, Cronin. Dame loves Mikal Bridges. Please, just go all in for Mikal Bridges right now. But it's gonna be like we have to make it part of that other trade, man. Because
I feel like I shouldn't even be streaming on this channel right now. I should be making a reaction video for NBA Uprise.
We can go do that. I'll keep holding it down. All right, I got to check Shams, though. Hold on. Shams is saying Mikal's in it, man.
Is he? Where's he saying that?
They gave up Mikal. Are you serious? I mean, he got to, I guess. That Ishbadu went all in. Holy crap. Including Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, 4 first-round picks. Dude, get one of those guys, please, Cronin. Oh, my goodness. Please. So it had to be Crowder, too, then, right? Mikal, Cam, Crowder, I think it's pretty close.
Why does this have to happen tonight? What am I doing all this effort for a trade deadline stream tomorrow for?
I'm still gonna be. I mean, Phoenix went all in. They get a new owner, and he's willing to pay whatever it takes. Holy crap, KD. Oh, man. Oh, good thing Cronin got to go sit and smile the whole game, and while other teams are getting better.
I'm changing the title of this stream. Screw it.
Yeah. Oh. Please, man. Even if it's Cam Johnson, please. just get Cam Johnson, man. Cam Johnson's so perfect for us, man, and it shouldn't cost a lot now. And like the Nets have like freaking Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Mikal Bridges. Can you please just get one of those guys, one of those three? That's all I'm asking for, man.
We're not getting any of those three.
That's all I'm asking for, please. The freaking Nets don't need 18 wings. They don't need. They have Royce O'Neal, Dorian Finney-Smith, Ben Simmons, now Mikal, T.J. Warren. They got freaking.
Why can't we have nice things, man?
Cam Johnson fits in the trade exception. We got a first-round pick. We can give that to Nets. They can get a million first-round picks. They can go get Van Vliet and OG, and we can get Mikal or Cam Johnson, man. Come on. I feel like Mikal for OG is such a win for the Raptors because they get like a more reliable player that's more comfortable in that role.
That's insane. That's crazy.
Come on, Cronin, please, man. I'll take back my rant from earlier, please, man. Oh, Suns got T.J. Warren as part of the trade.
So they got T.J. Warren back.
T.J. Warren back to the Suns. Let's go. Okay, so all those people who wanted Cronin to get KD.
The Suns are super contenders now. The Lakers are contenders now. We get Cam Reddish! I love sports. Anyway, I'm gonna make the thumbnail now. This is now a trade reaction stream. This is no longer the Blazers Uprise post-game show. We tried to do a post-game show, but the basketball gods would not let that be the case tonight.
Blazers won, yeah, we're 26 and 27.
Cool, yeah, good post-game show. That wraps up the post-game show. Good job, Eric, on the post-game show.
Thanks.
Let me make a new scene just for, like, nothing down below. Actually, screw it. I can... Oh, God. I don't even have a scene set up for this. Okay.
Hail Blazers, didn't realize the deadline passed. Yeah. We still have going on 13 hours and 47 minutes.
The start of tomorrow's stream is just going to be recapping this stuff. Anyway, so what do you think of the Nets now, Eric?
Dude, I'm shocked they traded KD before the deadline. He still was under team control for 3 years, but you get an offer of Mikal Bridges, Jae Crowder, Cam Johnson, and 4 first-round picks. I'm assuming they're all going to be unprotected. They might even got some pick swaps in there too. I mean, I see why they did it. I actually still kind of like the Nets still with what's his name? Why am I blanking on his name? That dude scores 40 points every game. What your boy? What's his name? Frick. Yeah. Didn't you like him in the draft? I thought you kind of liked him. Yeah. You're muted, I guess. I don't know. 2 people said that. But yeah, that's you got Cam Thomas, you got
there we go.
Mikal, Cam Johnson. Still have Ben Simmons. I would trade his ass too. You got Claxton. Yeah, Claxton's still nice. They're now they have Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith and Seth Curry. Like I like some of their pieces. Yeah. Uh, I still think they make the playoffs. Um, could we have had a better offer? I mean, our Godfather offer would have been like Simons, Sharp.
It would have been close.
If we
It would have been
got
comparable.
if we got our first back, um, let's just say we traded the New York pick to them and got our first back from Chicago. We're able to open up 4 firsts, and then, but I think Hart or Peyton would have had to been involved still probably, just to not go over the hard cap. Um, so, yeah, could have. I don't know. I think from the Nets' perspective, it's did you value winning, still winning now and being relevant versus maybe trading for stars? Because, like, obviously, Sharp and Simons have much higher upside ceilings than
Yeah.
Mikal and Cam Johnson, but I mean, those two are pretty much guaranteed decent players. Like, they're already established decent players pretty much. So a little less ceiling, but higher floor maybe. And then you get like, let's be honest, the Suns have still a pretty short window because KD's getting up there, Chris Paul's getting up there. They've
Yeah,
now
man.
got all in. They're pretty much stuck with their roster. They're not
like
going to
it,
have a
though.
lot of picks. I know.
They're
I know.
going
I'm
for
not
it,
saying
yeah.
that,
No, I
but
know. I'm just saying.
but now they have a roster that's pretty much set. So what I'm saying is those 4 first-round picks now become, like, the first couple probably won't be good, but when you're talking about like 2027 and 2029, those picks become pretty decent. Artelli $2 donation. Shaden, Nurkic, Winslow plus picks for Bridges and Clax. First of all, we don't have any picks to trade outside that one pick, so maybe if we could, but I don't know why. I don't know why the Nets would trade us Claxton at this point. I mean, he's still young enough to work with their rebuild, and he's been phenomenal this year. So I don't know why you would give him up. Yeah, so if we give up basically a pack, that it would cost basically the KD package. Only we wouldn't be getting KD. I don't really see the
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. That's not.
I mean, if we got
Sense.
Bridges and Claxton without giving up like any starter outside of Nurkic, obviously that makes us a pretty good team. But are we still better than Chris Paul, Booker, and KD and Aiden?
I mean,
Probably
we
not.
could maybe defend them.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just gonna be. I am trying not to be super down right now, but I'm not even gonna like focus on the stream from the Blazers' point of view. I'm just gonna focus it on the actual trade because if I focus on it from the Blazers' point of view, I'm going to get upset.
So they did include a pick swap as well in 2028. So that could be good too. So that could be similar. I mean, Durant's obviously not as washed as Pearson, um, but the Nets basically just pulled the reverse Pierce Garnett trade. Only they got Durant's obviously still
Yeah,
one of the best players in the world. So
yeah.
that's I think that's a good trade for both teams actually. I like what the Nets are doing, man. Get a bunch of picks. Make up for all the ones they lost of their own. They can't really tank themselves because they still owe Houston several picks. So I kind of like what they're doing too. I mean, they're not super old now, but they're still really good. And I think they have a lot of pieces and they can still make a bunch of other moves to find the right fits if certain players aren't working out. So I like what they're doing, but I also like that the Suns' new owner just came in and said, you know what, F it, we're going for this.
Yeah. Wish we had an owner like that.
Um, I don't think we did these other donations. Play-by-play, $5 donation. Well, Tori, I'm going to need a few minutes before I get back to working on graphics. What the WTF is going on, man? From
Yeah, thank you
play-by-play.
for helping me with those, man. It
Um,
seems like the trade deadline stream is tonight
if
instead. We'll still
I
stream
don't,
tomorrow, of course, with everything, but man, wild day.
Cranny Mac $2 donation. Forget KD. We got the next Paul George. Cronin for MVP. Yeah, a joke about Cam Reddish being the next Paul George, I guess. And I'm so sorry if you. I don't know if anyone donated prior to play-by-play,
I
or
think
if
I
you.
can check. Just give me a sec.
So let me know if you did.
Let me check.
I mean, I'm down. I was probably gonna be up late anyway. I'm here. I'm gonna have to go get. Oh man, I can't leave. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Why couldn't this happen tomorrow?
Unprotected 23, 25, 27, and 29.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good haul. You had to get basically every pick possible from them. You couldn't justify it otherwise at this point. So,
Man, could we get a new owner, please?
yeah. I mean, shout out to Phoenix, man. Suns fans should be thrilled.
I mean, this saved their whole franchise basically because, like, just a few days ago, they're talking about how they got turned down for trying to trade Chris Paul, and he was all they were trying to get Kyrie, who knows how that would have worked out for them, and now instead they have, I mean, that's one of the most dominant teams on paper that you can put together, man.
I'm very jealous right now.
I don't know how it all work out, but man, that's pretty crazy. Lakers fan 24 says I'm pissed, and I mean, yeah, just a few hours ago, Lakers had to be feeling pretty good in the West after making a big trade today and looking like crap most of the season, and now they seem to be, you know, dangerous with that rotation in the playoffs. Forgive Irvin says, what did the Suns do? They traded for Kevin Durant.
Yeah, I finally got the thumbnail done.
What's Not says, hey, did you guys see the Blazers beat the Warriors? Oh wait, who gives an S? Yeah, I mean, we talked about it for like 10 minutes. We did.
And then Pirtle trade happened, and then this trade happened.
Yeah. I mean, I seriously tried to get it out of the way because I knew we would just be talking about.
I literally ordered DoorDash because I wasn't planning on being on stream. I was letting Eric solo it, and then this happened, so I got my Wendy's sitting outside, and they left it in the wrong spot.
Isn't this one of the biggest deadline trades? I mean, yeah, it's hard to think of a bigger trade than this at the deadline. I don't know. Is there a bigger one that you can think that anyone in chat can think of?
Where's my Alex Wolf slippers? I need to find them.
Kuhn Marcelo, thank you so much for becoming a starter level member. Appreciate it. Chris Rain says, did you call Glass Lakers? I call Gabe Suns. That's a Paul Pierce reference. That's funny. Haven Griffin says, Suns got a big 4, Lakers got a big 3. We got Cam Reddish. Nice. Yeah, those 2027, 2028 pick swap and 2029 first unprotected, that's going to be a pretty crazy haul. Yeah. Yeah, the Clyde Drexler trade was at the deadline or shortly before the deadline, but I mean that was also, I mean, Clyde was kind of past his prime too. I mean, he still helped the Rockets win another title, but it's not like he was like prime Clyde at that point. Yeah, if the Suns don't win a ring, they're screwed. They're pretty much. This is an all-in move, man. Good job. Maurice Hayes says tank for Brandon Miller. Amen, man. Amen, Maurice. Let's go for Brandon Miller. I think he would be the small forward of the future we need. I think that would be great. But Jackson says, hearing Woj talk about Mikal and how much the Nets wanted him.
We're not getting him.
So Okay, well, I'll say two things to that. Okay, fine, but there's still a couple other guys. Dorian Finney-Smith now doesn't make a ton of sense with Mikal there and Cam Johnson. Go get one of those guys. But uh, yeah, I mean, I take Royce O'Neal at this point. um, at small forward, I still think he's an upgrade over Hart, and he could still have a pretty good deadline. But what's up, Quincy? Yeah, so this is crazy, man, because you saw the Timberwolves go on for Rudy Gobert, and now that trade looks like absolute garbage. I mean, they could have possibly gotten KD instead. That's crazy. Yeah, you see the Cavs go all in. They look like they're going to be in this window for 10 years where they have Mitchell Garland. They have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. So that's going to be interesting if they make a move for it. I'm wondering what's going to happen with some of these teams that were thinking they had a legit shot this year. Because we just went from yesterday, you can make the argument any team in the West in the top 12, if they made a good move, could vault themselves into playoff contention. And now we're sitting here and saying, like, even Denver in first place right now probably is like, oh crap, like what is Denver? Like, Denver can't really do it much. They don't have a lot of future picks to trade because they gave up a lot of them in previous trades. So yeah. Yeah, if we wanted Mikal Bridges, we pretty much have to rework the Knicks trade to have his salary going out, maybe find another team for Cam Reddish. But now, I mean, the Blazers are in a spot now where it's kind of like the Warriors a couple of years ago, where, I mean, it's possible you could make the case that the next couple of years, I mean, it's kind of pointless to even try to win a chip. Yeah. And just I'll give you a warning, Florida every day, but anyone who posts fake troll trades in chat will be hidden or at least put in timeout. So no fake trades. I almost thought the KD trade was fake though. So I mean, if you're actually telling the truth, that's great. But please no fake trades. And Robbie, that's not even funny because LeBron can't be traded this year. So don't even. Yeah. KD's swimming in a pool full of tears. What do you mean, Cody? No, I mean, I know once I saw like 8 people say it, like I was like, yeah, but I saw one person just say KD Woj or something, and I was like, what? Yeah. All right, Hamza says we got 3 players back in the Knicks trade, but we can't have all 3, so a follow-up trade. Yeah, so Tori and I are thinking that sometime between now and the morning when that trade becomes official, there's got to be either they just didn't report like someone like Greg Brown being a part of that trade going back, but the Blazers couldn't trade out. So how it works is if you accept 3 players in a trade and you only have spots for 2 of them, you have to cut someone from your roster. You can't cut one of the players from the trade until they're actually on your roster. So you have to make a spot for the roster before you cut them. It sounds like the Blazers might cut both of them, but they have to clear the spots for them first. So that means either we have another trade lined up where Greg Brown is going somewhere for a protected second, or what. But yeah. Definitive one says Cronin's going to call in sick tomorrow. I mean, I don't know if you would have. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm this KD trade makes me feel better about the Hart trade at least, because yeah, the KD trade is true, New York Blazer fan, because the yeah, both Shams and Woj tweeted it, so they'd have to both be wrong. But here's what I'll say though. The Josh Hart trade now, I mean, going for it this year or next year doesn't make a ton of sense now. So, like I said, if the KD trade would have happened prior to the Josh Hart trade, and you told me we could have traded Josh Hart and gotten potentially the 20th pick or so in this draft, depending on what happens with the Knicks, I'm taking it right now. So, I think you got to change your mindset. Still cool story to go for the playoffs. Hope you avoid the Suns for as long as possible to make a run to the second round or the third round, because they're far enough back from the Nuggets to where they might not be the second seed or the third seed. So maybe you get lucky and they're on the opposite side of the bracket. Maybe they finish fourth in the standings or something, and then the Nuggets and them have to play in the second round. Yeah, it's a case where maybe you can get lucky and still go for the playoffs, but set yourself up for the future, man. And I mean, this is why I've always been a fan of the 2-window strategy. And I'm not worried about it, even though Dame is 32, because I mean, Chris Paul and Kevin Durant are older than Dame. Yeah, so those guys are in a situation where they're going to if as the Blazers, we have to hit a home run on a draft pick and young players. And that's the only chance we have, because we're not going to get KD in a trade. We're not going to get, I mean, short of LeBron forcing his way here this summer. And even that, LeBron will be like 39 or something. Is he going to be how I mean, he's still phenomenal, but is he good enough to beat the Suns with Dame? So, and now that the Lakers just went all in for him this year, I don't know if he'll leave now. You could have made that case prior to their trade today. But short of getting like a Joel Embiid or something in a trade, which I don't think is going to happen either. I just don't see a scenario where the Blazers can make an all-in move that makes them better than some of these teams. So I think what I would say is you don't have to tank this season, but just switch your mindset to have a good team, but make sure you're ready to pop in 2 years or something, because there's going to be a small window where the Suns window is closing or closes, and there's going to be a small window where Dame is still not quite old enough to be on the downslope of his career where he's like not good anymore or anything. So I still think Dame has a couple years. So the only chance Portland has, in my opinion, right now, given this outside of miraculous injury situations happening, is to keep this thing together, keep adding potential pop players that have a chance to get better or raise the ceiling by a lot. And so I would say, I mean, you need Nas to become that guy. You need Sharp to become a superstar or like all-star level player. You need Anthony to become even better than he already is. I think Shaggy Squid puts it best. I'm 100% against trading Sharp for OG, because if we give up a bunch of first and Sharp for OG, we're not better than the Suns, and we're capping our potential ceiling in a couple of years. So I don't like that at all. And we're going to have to give up future picks for that too. So I'm not doing anything that unprotects picks unless it's for like a young star that's already good. I can't even think of an example of that right now. Like Cam Johnson right now is pretty much the max limit I would give up that first we're getting from like if we want to ship Cam Reddish and a pick for Cam Johnson, I think that would really help a lot of things. Cam Johnson is a really underrated defender, already kind of decent on that end. I think he would fit in well with the team concept, and I think he would space the floor really well and help some of our offensive issues too. So I think that's like the best possible scenario is get a player like that for relatively inexpensive. But honestly, at this point, I'm fine with just keeping that Knicks pick, getting if we don't make the playoffs, we'll have like the 10th pick and the 20th pick or whatever those end up being. And then maybe you can trade up a few spots, maybe you stay there and just keep taking home run shots, and eventually maybe you hit on one, or maybe two or three you hit on, and that's the only way I think is possible. It's still very, very, very unlikely to happen, but I think at this point that's your only chance to do something like that, short of like Sharp and Simons becoming superstars relatively quickly. But I like us with Mikal. I just don't know how we get him for cheap, and I don't think we should give up a ton to get him. So yeah. Yeah, and you're right. You're right, Jakey. You can't count on Chris Paul and KD to be healthy, but I still think just taking the approach that if you take an approach that you have to rely on a player getting injured in order to beat them, I don't see how that. I just don't see how that's the best plan. I think you gotta keep. I think you gotta keep with making smart moves, setting yourself up to make the best possible chance to hit lottery picks, or not necessarily lottery picks, but hit a home run on a pick. So, Chris R says, how much does Cam Johnson cost us? I don't know, man. I don't know. I know. So for those that watch the channel, I know we have a lot of people who don't watch every stream in here right now. So thank you all for joining us. I really appreciate all of you for watching. If I normally don't do this, but if you're here and you're enjoying the stream, please leave a like. It's the best way to support us. But and thank you all for at least tuning in and checking us out. But the thing is, so I've been saying that was like my mystery player all year. I know the Blazers at one point had a deal in place to get Cameron Johnson when he came back from injury, and then the whole ownership thing happened. They ended up getting a new owner who was willing to spend money and maybe pay Cameron Johnson whatever it took in the offseason. And then but the Blazers pretty much had a deal worked out with them with their previous owner, who was going to be cheap and didn't want Cam Johnson on the team since he wouldn't accept their contract offer in the offseason. So from that point, they were like, screw him. Like, we don't want him. Like, we're not going to pay him. And they were going to be cheap with him. So we had a situation where the Suns were always going to wait because they knew their end goal was to go all in for KD, and they refused to give up on that premise. And look, it ends up working out for them. Just like freaking Daryl Morey last year refused to cave in on a Ben Simmons trade, and then he ends up getting James Harden out of it. Like, who would have imagine that scenario? So the Suns Cam Johnson ended up coming back. The new owner really liked him and was willing to pay him, and so he wasn't going to be tradable again. But now in this scenario, obviously, you have to pay what it takes to get KD without giving up your top three guys. So they were willing to give up on this trade along with Mikal. Now, the problem is I have no idea. So like I was only told what Phoenix was thinking all season and what the Blazers were interested in him. So I'm assuming. I mean, I don't know why. Like, it would be a very bad sign if Cronin doesn't even call the Nets right now and ask him. But I would be finding out how attached they are to Cam Johnson if they want to pay him. They have, like I mentioned, they have a ton of forwards now. So do they want to keep all of them, or are they looking to reship one of them? We have a way to get him either with the trade exception and stay under the tax, or with we could use Cam Reddish to another team for free, or Winslow to another team for free, and absorb salary somehow, mixing it into the New York trade. But we can get Cam now, stay under the tax, maybe give up that first. I'm not doing much more than that, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't think we do anything, man. I have a gut feeling, not to be a buzzkill, but I mean, what do we get as Blazer fans, Eric? There's a reason I was expecting disappointment coming this trade deadline. We get pain, dude. We don't get nice things. Like, not to be that guy that's just, cursed sports fan, but I truly feel like a cursed sports fan. I mean, you look around here, it's like Phoenix gets KD, and LA turns 1 first-round pick into, like, 3 starting caliber players. And we're sitting here like, yay, well, at least we got a first-round pick with Cam Reddish for our starting small forward. That's what we get. So I've been like trying to digest just what I think about the Blazers' direction now, because it's changed. At this point, I mean, you're not close to even being competitive with the Suns. You're not close to being competitive with the Nuggets. You're not better than the Lakers anymore. I mean, what we gotta. Yeah, I liked what you talked about earlier with a 2-year, like 2 years from now. Everything should be for 2 years from now. But that's the thing is, like, you're relying on a lot of random ifs. When you trade for Kevin Durant, you're getting Kevin Durant. You're not relying on an if, you're getting Kevin freaking Durant. With us, it's like, Sharp has to become this, and Little has to become this, and then we gotta, like, get lucky with this pick, and then we got to try and pull this trade and get good value on this, and it's like, I don't even trust Joe Cronin to get good value in anything. It's just tough, dude.
Yeah. Cranny Mac says, $10 donation. Thank you so much, Cranny Mac. DoorDash yourself an energy drink. It could be a long one. You think we could get Mikal for 2 first-round picks? I mean, I don't know. I like, we'd have to unprotect the picks, or trade that pick, the Knicks pick, to the Bulls and get 2 future picks. Like, does it even matter anymore? I mean, I think Mikal makes us a lot better. But yeah, at this point, Tori, are you if you're Cronin? Well, actually, before I ask you this, because it might set us off on a tangent. Rip City Brady, member for 17 months. Rough day for Rip City. Let's all cry together.
And then play-by-play with a $20 dono. Thank you, play-by-play. $20 dono says, I feel the same way, Tori. Just tired of seeing everyone else getting the glory. We just have to sit here and observe the rest of the league continuously make huge splashes. I know we're not the only ones, but man, yeah, I mean, we are stuck in the middle. And we've been stuck in the middle. And nothing Joe Cronin has done has gotten us close to getting out of the middle. What has he done to get us closer to out of the middle? He got Jeremy Grant, we're still in the middle. Oh, he got a New York first, which might end up being 4 seconds. 4 second-round picks. Like, Cronin doesn't have a plan. Phoenix had a plan. Their plan was, we're going to knock down KD's door and go steal him from Brooklyn. They struck out last offseason. I was like, oh, that's never going to happen. Well, it freaking happened. That was their plan. Dallas swings a trade for Kyrie. The Lakers somehow fleece the entire league. Like, yeah. It just sucks because we're just stuck. And we have Dame, and he's playing as great as ever, and it just doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Basically, we just have to sit here and just enjoy the fact that Damian Lillard's really good at basketball, and that's what we get.
Kyle Wilson, $2 donation. Thank you, Kyle. Just feel hopeless at this point. Yeah, it's hard not to feel that way. It sucks. So I don't feel quite as bad as like when KD went to the Warriors. It's obviously not that extreme, but it is pretty extreme. Like it went from anyone could like realistically convince me they had a chance to now I don't think anyone can do that. You know?
Yeah,
like
well,
you could like if the Blazers traded for OG tomorrow, prior to this trade, I would say that they could. I mean, why couldn't they win a playoffs like upset Denver in a playoff series and make a run or whatever? But like now it's like, I mean, that doesn't even really help us that much. Like, you know, like what's the point?
yeah. I mean,
Are you out on trying to trade for OG and Pascal
No.
at this point, or do you go all in try to
No.
match Phoenix?
I mean, you don't go all in for both guys. You don't trade Sharp. You don't trade Simons. So no on Pascal because you'd have to trade one of those two guys. OG is the guy I'd be looking at. I'd be trying to flip that New York pick, and well, you have to make sure that you're able to get him. Like I would trade 2 protected first for OG. You know, that's the thing is there turned out to be more sellers than we thought, Eric, because Brooklyn just came in and blew everything up. So OG's price maybe has gone down. I'd 2 firsts, 2 protected firsts, and a couple seconds for OG. I would absolutely do right now because that's the thing. If you're making a play for like 2 to 3 years from now, OG's young enough to fit that. The problem is, could you give him a big enough role? Mm-hmm. At this point, I would explore trying to turn Jeremy Grant into OG Anunoby.
That's what I was going to ask you.
At this point, I would explore that because OG wants a bigger role than he has in Toronto. But the thing is, he's like, what, the third option? Is it just like he's not getting enough responsibility as a ball handler or what? Right? Like, could we give him what he wants here is the question. Because you don't want to bring him in and then he walks a couple years from now because you're not able to give him the role he wants.
That was going to be my next question. And now, like, so we've been saying all year, you can't really trade Grant because Dame wanted him here. But at this point, you know, like, just paying him $35 million really help us.
I mean, you could make the case that OG is as good as Jeremy Grant because OG is a better defensive player.
What about for Mikal?
I mean, same thing with Mikal. I'd give up 2 firsts for Mikal, yeah.
No, would you take Grant for Mikal straight up?
Oh, right now, yes.
Yeah.
Because Mikal, would play that role. Like, okay, that's the number one option I would explore. Is there any possible way we can turn Jeremy Grant into Mikal Bridges? Is Mikal Bridges gettable at all? If he's gettable for a couple first-round picks, or trying to get a couple first-round picks for Jeremy Grant at this point. And it's not even like I necessarily want to trade Grant, but I think we could re-sign him. But I don't know, man. Like, I would explore trying to get Mikal and keep Grant. The reason I was more okay with trading Grant for OG is because OG would want a bigger role, so trading Grant would help accomplish that, and you could keep other pieces. So with OG, I'm more likely to trade Grant. With Mikal, I'm okay with keeping Grant and trying to get Mikal, because here's the thing. If you want any chance of competing against these teams, I think we can still compete against these teams offensively, especially if we got a Mikal or an OG Anunoby. Like, I don't think offense is the problem in regards to competing with these teams. We're a borderline top 5 offense, and we've always been a really good offense. And you got a ton of offensive talent already on this team. If you upgrade it even more, you got a chance on that side of the ball. It comes down to, can we defend anything or anybody? You got to go out. If you want any chance of being competitive in the next 2 years, you got to go out and you got to get a top-tier forward defender on the ball, and then you got to play Jeremy Grant off the ball around the rim. And then maybe you have to find a better defensive center than Nurkic too at that point. But you got to start with a small forward spot. So if you're getting OG or Mikal, and both those guys are young, it can be like, okay, well, we think this gives us a chance to at least slow down a Kevin Durant because we got Mikal Bridges or we got OG Anunoby to guard him, right? And then, you got Jeremy Grant helping around the rim. Maybe you could have a 1% chance of beating the Suns in a series or whatever it'd be, right? It wouldn't be high, but maybe you'd have a chance. But also they're young enough where you could look at it 2 years down the line and like, okay, well, those guys are going to be in their prime still. Grant, Nurk, they'll still be in their prime. and will just be entering his prime. Maybe he's better 2 years from now. Maybe Sharp is a borderline star. Who knows what he becomes in the next couple of years? Or he turns into that piece where you could flip him for a superstar, and you could have, Dame and Grant and Mikal and a star, like a superstar. Then you're talking about contending. I mean, that's the only potential path to contention, is by trading for a superstar, in my opinion, in the next 1 to 2 years. But in the meantime, if you can go out and get that small forward that's a 3-and-D guy, you go try and do it as long as it's good value.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't want to get too crazy into this, but let's say you were able to flip Grant for Mikal, which I think I would do that. What my main reason for doing it is Mikal's in the first year, I think it's 4 years, 90 million or something like that. So you have him locked up 20 million a year. So it's going to be, 2/3 to maybe even a little less than what Grant's going to sign for. So you have Mikal, he's a couple years younger. He's still 26, so he's not like super young or anything. But so you put him at the 3. If you don't have to give up, if you don't like unprotect, maybe you have to give up the Knicks pick or whatever. But right around where we could be picking if we keep our pick and it's in the lottery, there's a guy like Jarris Walker from Houston.
I don't even want to talk prospects.
No, I know. That's why I said I'm not going to get too far into this. Yeah. But he's like he would be like a really good fit at power forward then. And then maybe you keep Nurk or you find a long-term replacement for Nurk. So you get something like that. And then all of a sudden we have a situation where we have a young power forward. We have a young, wing in Sharp. We have Anthony, who's still young. And we have like Mikal and Dame locked into contracts that could possibly pop. So I think that's the kind of thing I'm looking at doing. I'm not really interested in trading for too many things. And all those people, so it's been reported now that the Nets are looking to flip Jae Crowder.
I don't want Jae Crowder.
Do not. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Don't do any of those kind of things. Like if we give up that Knicks first and Cam Reddish for Jae Crowder, we're screwing ourselves. Like we're basically saying we have no chance of ever getting out of this. At least that Knicks pick, the 20th pick, this is a deep draft. I like a lot of the players that are going to fall to there. And there's some like swing for the fences type of guys.
You gotta take swings.
You
can't try and bunt for singles. That's what Jae Crowder is.
Yeah. There's this guy Maxwell from Pepperdine who had some like academic problems and but like he's a definite NBA talent. Like you swing for fences with that guy with like the 20th pick or whatever. So Baba Miller, whatever. Yeah, so like do that kind of stuff. But
how many of those guys are going to help in the next 3 to 4 years, I mean, if it's too deep in the draft, you probably got a chance, but you also have a good chance of getting a guy who's not helpful in the next 3 or 4 years. I
mean, I love Chris Murray, but he's a little older, so it probably doesn't make a lot of sense. But
here's the thing. You got to take swings.
Yeah.
But also you have to try and set yourself up to be in a position to take a swing for a guy that's established in the next year or two.
Gigi Jackson is like one of the most polarizing prospects. He's like, he just turned 18 like a month and a half ago and is like completely raw, but like amazing. Like, I don't know where he's going to go. He could go like 8th or he could go like into the first round. Like you just take a chance on someone like that and hope they develop in a couple of years. Like I said, 2 to 3 year window and hope that pans out. But,
we're screwed.
I think that's our only chance, though. Sharp has to be a star.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying, Sharp has to be a star. That's pretty much it. Or we have to get lucky somewhere else.
Yeah, but the thing is, here's the thing. Everything we talk about, like what Cronin could do as a plan, he doesn't seem to have a plan right now. I don't count on him coming up with a good plan, and then I don't count on him executing that plan value-wise. Like, I don't count on him to swing a big-time trade. Couldn't count on Olshey to swing a big-time trade. Like,
I mean, maybe Cronin will have that ability if he puts himself in that position. The problem is I don't count on him executing well enough to put himself in that position. I don't know. Like, everybody thinks he has a plan. I just think he's just kind of winging it right now. But regardless, everything else with young guys is like, we have to have the best case scenario for multiple young guys in order to have a chance of anything. The chance of having the best case scenario for multiple young guys, whether it's, Sharp, Nas, Ant continues to develop, our pick hitting this year, if we have a pick this year. Like, that's unlikely that all four of those things are the best case scenario. Because that's the thing is, in the past, people have gotten all hyped about, like, oh, Ant plus Nas, they could be so great, just wait. But I was telling people, like, the best case scenario for Nas is not realistic because he's inconsistent. And that made me a hater. But he's being inconsistent again. Like, you know what I mean? It's more likely...
I mean, he's going to get injured again, too.
But he also can't stay healthy. So
right.
That's the thing, is you can't just sit here... You can't just sit here and rely on the best case scenario for multiple different variables in order to do anything. Because that's not a plan. That's just wishful thinking. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem with like all this stuff as we talk about it. It just comes across as such wishful thinking. Like, I'm not trying to be a pessimist or anything. Trust me, I'd love to be optimistic. I've been trying to preach optimism all year long. At this point, I mean, you don't make a trade unless you're getting back a really good starter who can defend. A really good starter. Not Jae Crowder.
Your future for it.
Not giving up your future, outside of like future first or whatever. And you're getting a really good starter. Okay? But that's the thing is like, if we trade, a couple firsts, if that superstar comes available in the future, are we able to trade for him? So that's the thing. Like, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place, man. Like, I mean, at this point, I don't know how Dame would feel about it, but you almost have to consider tanking. And I've never been one for tanking.
What I was saying.
I know.
I mean, not to talk about the draft.
I'm not going to talk about the draft. I'm just saying, like, what's your way out of it? I don't want to sit here and talk about, like, 10 prospects, because I can't keep up because I haven't watched enough college basketball this year. B, it just sucks because we literally, last year, the whole second half of the season was just talking about prospects. Like, I don't even want to talk about prospects yet because the last year, like, half of our season was just talking about draft prospects, right? So... Marcus Lake says Tori is going through the stages of grief. Absolutely. I'm processing this. I'm just at the point where it's like, if you could get, a first-round pick back for Nurkic, you have to consider it. Like an expiring contract? We have to diversify, like, we have to get fluid assets, and fluid assets are like a first-round pick, trade exceptions, cap space, potentially, whatever. You have to consider going a route where you just basically strip things down to like Dame, Ant, maybe Grant, Sharp, just like the key pieces of your team, and giving yourself the flexibility, whether it's trade exceptions. It's going to be impossible to get under the cap if you keep Dame, Ant, and Grant, but if you can, you got a first for Hart, if you can get a first for Nurkic, well, all of a sudden you're starting to stack up firsts. So... And then you just try and get a cheap center. I mean, look at how many good cheap centers there have been in the league that were taken with late first, early seconds. You got to find one of those. A Nick Claxton, a Robert Williams.
Guys, Wiseman for Nurkic doesn't even work salary-wise, and that would make like $100 million that the Warriors would have to pay. It's not happening.
And for the millionth time ever, I'm never going to trade Dame. So stop talking about it. I'm not going to trade Dame. You can trade Dame if you want, but I'm not going back on that loyalty. You can't expect a star to stay loyal in the future if you go back on the loyalty of the one star whoever has. Can't expect Ant to stay loyal if he becomes the next Dame. If you trade his mentor away when he was loyal. No. Don't incentivize guys to move teams like Kyrie does.
Anyway. I mean, everything's on the table. Terrence says, Torrey is a little Debbie Downer right now. I think young players can contribute immediately. It's the coaching that doesn't want to gamble. Bro, the Suns got Kevin freaking Durant, and we traded our starting small forward for Cam Reddish. Of course I'm a Debbie Downer right now. It's called being realistic. Look at where we're at. We're celebrating a win over a Steph Curry-less Warriors team because, now we're only one game below 500. And we traded a starter for a pick and a player that's not good.
Caleb Wilson has a great idea, Tori. Why didn't Cronin think of this? Should have traded Ant and 5 firsts for Durant, even though you can't even trade 5 firsts.
Caleb, the next time you come in here with something that's wrong under the CBA, I might just be done with you, bro, because you can't trade 5 firsts. They can't trade. They don't have 5
don't even
firsts.
have 1 first.
They don't have 1 freaking first.
They might tomorrow, a lottery protected first. God, you think you're so smart every time you come in here, man.
Definitive One thinks he speaks for Dame, saying trading Dame would be a mercy for him. Stop thinking you speak for Dame, bro. Trading Dame would be a mercy. What do you know what's best for Dame? It would be merciful to trade him? You think you know what's best for him? Dude, I hate when people do that. I hate when people do that, man. You don't speak for him. He wants to be here. He wants to be here. Like... They'll say, we need to make it easier on him by giving him what he doesn't want. What?
If he's tomorrow says, you know what, it's like I gave it a run. The Suns got KD. I'm not gonna win here like I would have loved to, but whatever. Then trade him. Fine. Like that's cool. But I'm I mean, Dame has a lifetime pass for me. I mean, I'm not going to say it's anything else. He has a lifetime pass for me. So if he wants to be here, he gets to be here. I don't care.
Yep. Sucks.
Yakov needs a rundown of the picks we have. We have no.
I got a graphic. Well, we do have a pick from the Hart trade.
Well, it's not official yet.
Yeah.
As of right now, we don't have a pick. We do have potentially a first-round pick if the Knicks make the playoffs. If the Knicks don't make the playoffs, we don't have any first still. Unless we don't make the playoffs, we have our first this year. And if we do make the playoffs, that pick goes to the Chicago Bulls, and then we free up all our future firsts. But as of right now, we have no firsts to trade, and then we have outside of the Knicks one, and we have nothing else.
Okay, so all these numbers, except it's supposed to be 3.4 million, not 3.4K, but ignore that. I did update these. Let me set hotkeys for this. Yeah, there we go. Hotkeys to change the slides. All right, so right now after that trade would be 3.4 million below the tax, roughly. Those updated payrolls, but draft picks. So the green picks on the left for first round picks, those are picks that back up the protection on the 2023 first we owe to Chicago. That pick is protected 1 through 14. It's lottery protected every year until 2028. Then it turns into a second. I need to make the 2028 second round pick green for the Blazers, but you get the gist. So if you trade a 2026, you can't just outright trade a 2026 first because the Blazers might owe that to Chicago. So that's the problem. That's why we can't just go out here and trade 5 future firsts or whatever. We could unprotect that 2023 first, and then the next one we could trade is 2025. Then we could trade 2025, 2027, and 2029. But I did add that New York Knicks pick there. So that is our one. No, we have 2 tradable firsts. No, we only have 1 due to the stepping rule. 2029, we can't just outright trade because we might owe a first in 2028, and you can't trade first in back-to-back years. So that's our pick sheet.
Sorry, I got to read a couple tweets from CJ McCollum.
Okay, sure.
40 minutes ago, obviously, when the Durant trade went down, can't even go to sleep anymore this time of year. And then he followed that up 6 minutes ago with saying, this is all because John Morant said he was good in the West. Now, and I don't think Memphis has really won a game against the West since that tweet. And now it's even worse. Good luck, Ja. You're never getting out of the West now, so have fun.
Great job, Ja. Good job, buddy. I'm fine in the West. Dude, Ja's become so unlikable. It's so sad to see. Because I liked him coming out of college.
Yeah. Tyler James says we don't get the Knicks pick if they miss the playoffs. Nope. It becomes 4 second-round picks, apparently.
Yep.
I'm not sure what seconds. I don't know if that was announced exactly what picks they become. But, yeah, I don't know if that trade's officially yet anyway. So
I don't think it is. I don't think it will be until tomorrow. Anyway.
Brian P. asking, the Blazers trade a pick from the Knicks to Chicago to get our pick back, throw in a second as sweetener. I mean, they can certainly ask, but, I mean, the Bulls don't have to do that. And 2, what's the point? If that pick conveys, then we basically would have all our future picks plus the Knicks pick in this draft. So it was basically like we got our pick anyway, right? Yeah. Assuming they made the playoffs. So
I mean,
it might almost be better to not do it.
If you could get Mikal, though, you have to consider it.
Yeah.
Because it comes down to this, Eric.
But how many picks are you giving up for Mikal?
2. Protected. Because here's the thing. Like, offensively, it's not going to be a problem. And Mikal was a better fit than Josh Hart offensively. If you brought Mikal in, that's a top 5 offense, right? So what it comes down to is, does bringing in Mikal fix our defense enough for it to be competitive enough to give us a fighter's chance against the Suns, right?
I don't think one person does that.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Is there other moves that could be done? Because that's the thing, is offensively this team will be competitive against anyone. It comes down to defensively, can they hang with anyone? So that's the thing, is like, can a Mikal, Jeremy Grant, Dame, Anthony Simons core be good enough defensively, and what other pieces would you have to put around them to get them good enough defensively? And how do you get those pieces? Is there any chance to get those pieces? That's the calculation there.
Mm-hmm.
And Mikal goes with both timelines. That's why I'm okay with going for Mikal. And then it's like if Sharp starts to develop into a star, and Ant's playing like a star, and then, you only owe 1 future first a couple years from now, maybe you can swing a little minor trade to get it back or something and trade multiple future firsts on top of Sharp, and you can add a star. Maybe Embiid's available or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Who knows down the line, right? Who would have seen KD going to Phoenix 2 years ago? So who knows down the line? That's basically probably the best play to be competitive now and give yourself a chance for the future. But then again, you're relying on variables, which is scary, but at least you would have the right 3 and 4 fit, right? And if Ant's not a good enough fit next to Dame, and that's the problem, then you explore trying to upgrade Anthony Simons.
Well, Daniel Leo says Ant got to go. What? So
Why
what
would
do you
trade your young 23-year-old right now?
What are you trading Ant for that'll make us better than
the Suns?
The Suns.
Yeah. Actually, now it's like Ant got to stay.
Ant's got to stay. And he was staying, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, let's trade it for DeRozan.
Yeah, DeRozan. Yeah, you want to be a first-round exit and no hope for the future.
That was a great trade idea by Blazers Twitter today. Yeah, awesome.
Joey,
you missed that whole thing, Tori.
That's disgusting. That's so stupid. DeRozan doesn't help us defensively. He's not as good of a three-point shooter. He's worse off the ball. Makes no sense. DeRozan never, people don't know about fit. So, okay, Toronto's talks on forward OG Anunoby are rolling into the final hours of the trade deadline. The landing of Kevin Durant with the Suns could escalate Anunoby's value among Western Conference teams.
So you have to pay even more to get him? Yeah. Sign me up.
First. Let's go. God, dude.
Also,
I'm scared we're going to overpay for him.
Kyrie said he's glad KD's out of there, meaning out of Brooklyn. Kyrie said that after the game. I'm just glad he got out of there.
Yeah, that's strange.
Those two guys, man, KD and Kyrie,
Can't stand him.
they chose to go there. The organization bends over backwards to give them everything they want, from the coaches to they fire what's his name?
Steve Nash.
No, they fired
Kenny Atkinson.
Kenny Atkinson, who was doing a decent job. They hire Steve Nash, then they fire Steve Nash, and then they they give up their entire future for Harden, and then those three can't make it work, and they end up not liking each other, and then they trade Harden to please them, do a pretty good trade, and then they're just never happy, man. Screw those guys. Don't freaking blame the Nets for not taking care of you. They freaking did everything possible to take care of you, dude.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't like either of those dudes. Makes it easier to root against Phoenix, unfortunately.
And this isn't the same to me as KD going to Golden State. Like, he's actually traded there, and they had to actually give up stuff to get him, so it's fine. But I mean, once again, KD finds himself in the perfect scenario. After he couldn't get it done with Kyrie and Harden on his own, he had to go somewhere else. So,
yep. Jackson with the 24-month member message says, how do you even pitch that to Dame, though? I think he's talking about tanking. Thank you, Jackson, for being a channel member and a mod. I mean, I don't know. That I don't think you can. We're so
I mean, at this point, you're pretty much. I mean, it's going to be hard to be anything other than a play-in team at best. So, I mean, just naturally, you're going to find yourself in the lottery, even without telling Dame we're tanking. So, yeah.
I mean,
and
right
him
now,
and Ant can still go nuclear and win us games, and we can still, make the playoffs and stuff. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility, but yeah.
Yeah. Right now, I think you can say that there's there's like 5 teams that are for sure better than us. And those would be Denver, Memphis, Phoenix, of course, the Lakers, the Clippers when healthy. And maybe you throw in Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Timberwolves got worse. The Golden State Warriors are defending freaking champs in a dynasty. The Pelicans, when healthy, have been really good. But I mean, maybe you can be a 7 seed. I don't see them getting out of the play-in, though. Because you're going to have to pass the Clippers. You're 2.5 games behind them. I mean, unless they have dramatic injuries. I don't really see that happening. But I mean, at this point, Eric, after tomorrow, we'll see what happens tomorrow. That'll obviously maybe change expectations or, the thought. But at this point, I'm just going to try and enjoy the rest of the season. It's game 55. Somehow there's only 27 games left in the season, which is crazy because I feel like the season just started yesterday. And it's just at the point where it's like, okay, well, I'm just going to take every game in and just enjoy the fact that, we get to watch Blazer basketball today. I'm going to try to have that mindset, and I'm going to try not to get too caught up in wins or losses because, shoot, if we lose a bunch of games somehow and we get close to that in the season, then maybe Dame's like, okay, I'll sit out the rest of the year. He's still going to be here. He's under 5 years of contract, and he wants to be here. So, yeah, at that point, okay, well, then maybe you tank. And at this point, we're only 2 games better than the Lakers, who are 13th in the West. I mean, you could hypothetically get, top 5, top 6 odds. There's 4 really bad teams you're not catching: Charlotte, Detroit, Houston, and San Antonio. The next worst team is Orlando at 22 and 33. But they've been playing better basketball lately when healthy. I mean, if this season goes south, you could potentially catch them in the tank race. It's actually not too late, but you can't pitch. Dame's not going to go for that. So it's just basically going to have to happen naturally. And it's going to have to get close enough to the end of the season where it's like, yeah, we're screwed. Right? So at this point, it's like, okay, well, you go into each game as a fan, like, well, if we lose, we lose. If we win, we win. Who knows what's best? Because I don't know what's best. I don't know that winning games is going to be the best thing for this team. Losing games might be better. If you have the 6 bets odds that Victor Wembanyama, I mean, there's a dude that could really change things, right?
Yeah.
So you just
And
go into each game.
Huge window.
Yep, exactly. So
him and Sharp, and then you have like a 10-year window, then they can be a secondary piece when he gets older.
Yep.
I mean, that's
so if we lose games, I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I wish we lost today. I don't know. Like, so it's gonna make it. Actually, it might make it easier to watch games going into each game. Like, I don't know what I want to happen. It'll make it easier to just enjoy the basketball. That's the only positive mindset to have right now.
I mean, is playing hard and not winning at least half your games building a winning attitude for your young guys either?
Yeah, how are we building?
I don't think we have to tank like as bad as last year. That's really sad to say, but yeah.
I mean, there's not as many really bad teams as last year.
Yeah.
So Mikal tweeted, "Oh my god, LOL." I love Mikal, man. He would be fun to have on.
People were saying that he found out via tweet or something.
Yeah. What are my top 5 teams in the West now? I just named them, Max.
Yeah, just said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with him too. I think Phoenix 1, Denver 2, probably Lakers 3, and yeah, Memphis and who's third right now? Or Clippers? Yeah, Clippers. Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, watch. You know what's gonna happen with OG? You know where he's gonna go? Just
Pelicans?
guess. No, I feel like OG's gonna go to Memphis.
See, Memphis is like, I don't know. If I'm Memphis, I'm not going all in for OG either. I don't know.
I mean, I feel like OG's gonna go to a Western Conference team and just make this conversation even more prevalent.
Yeah.
Like it'll be Memphis or New Orleans.
Well, you know, Tori, the hidden part of the Lakers trade today.
Yeah.
They only gave up a 2027 top 4 protected, right? And it just turns into a 2nd round pick if it doesn't convey. So they still technically have a 2029 unprotected first they could trade and a 2028 unprotected pick swap. Both of those would be, 5-6 years from now. So LeBron will be gone most likely. AD will be, in a walker somewhere. And they could be really bad. So they still have Patrick Beverley's $14 million contract or something, which I think is just enough to match for OG, or really close if they throw in like another minimum contract, and offer that 1st round pick and an unprotected first. So imagine if the Lakers got OG on top of everything else. Yeah.
That'd be funny.
Yeah. But yeah, he's interesting because he's, I think, a year younger than Mikal, 25 versus 26, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, he's in that window to where it still could be possible. But I mean, the guy's also had issues staying healthy too. So yeah, but look for the Lakers, man. I mean, once they traded one of those picks, I mean, they might even have to, but they could definitely be in play for another big player if that player makes enough to get him with Beverley and another pick, because that's a couple of nice picks potentially for a team that's not caring about that kind of stuff.
Here's an interesting report, Eric.
What's that?
It says, quote, report. Blazers have interest in signing Russell Westbrook in potential buyout market. Portland looks to fortify itself as a contender in the West.
Who's reporting that?
Ballsack Sports.
Oh, dude, get out of here, man.
Imagine we did, though.
Oh, man. Well, it would help our tank.
We need a shot creator off the bench, right? To replace... Well, we need a Josh Hart replacement, so there you go. There's your Josh Hart replacement, right? We didn't like how
Rebounding.
Hart wasn't confident enough shooting the ball. We'll get a guy that's way too confident shooting the ball.
Yep.
That's crazy.
OG's definitely going to make more than the Mikal contract.
I'd much rather have Mikal.
Yeah. Reliable. Oh, Jakob, I remember for 12 months. This is rough. Love you guys. Love you too, Jakob.
Thanks, Jakob.
Love all of you, even the ones we argue with. Appreciate all of you.
We're so screwed. The Suns are really good. I don't know if I'll be able to stomach any more Suns Valley podcasts the rest of the year. It'll just make me mad.
I'm sorry, Tara. I'm going to have to do this.
Well, I'm ready for the rebuttal, whatever you're about to throw my way.
What is Flex's Twitter?
Oh,
I got to check it.
Oh, why?
I want to read it.
I mean, he was still wrong about last offseason when he basically guaranteed it was happening on like July 4th.
Flex from Jersey or something, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Just the follower from August obviously took time, but Suns land the guy they always wanted.
Of course they always wanted him.
He's taking credit. Good things come to those who wait. Welcome to Phoenix.
He didn't even have any tweets leading up to this deadline about Kevin Durant, so it's not like he even heard anything. Because we know he definitely would have been tweeting about it. So, I mean, yeah, anyway. He's reacted to it, just like we did. Interesting. Anyway.
Oh, man.
How long are we streaming for? I mean, this was supposed to be a post-game show, and basically we go 2 hours for the post-game show, so I don't know. We'll probably get off soon. I don't know. Dude, it's just... we'll have a live stream tomorrow morning, trade deadline. We're going to grade these trades that have happened, okay? And we'll, like, talk a little more about them, and we'll see if the Blazers follow it up. And, yeah, we'll have graphics for that. It'll be fun, I think, maybe. It would have been more fun if this stuff waited for tomorrow. I'm kind of mad this all happened tonight, but...
I mean, there's still going to be trades tomorrow, so...
At least I can go in tomorrow just, like, knowing, like, yeah, we're screwed. I don't even have to be disappointed today, where most of the time I wake up like, maybe we can do something good for once. And then we get screwed, and then I'm ranting as the deadline passes, like, no. I mean, we're already screwed, so at least tomorrow will be a little bit more fun, I think.
Well, we have to know another detail of the Blazers trade, at least, because they can't do a 3-for-1 trade without
Greg
making
Brown is gone or something. Yeah.
I mean, at this point, you might as well start Greg Brown and hope he develops, right?
Yep. No, actually, no. Stop.
I mean,
just no.
I mean, at least now we know for sure that the KD trade won't hold up teams, right?
Sure.
Because that was the thing, like, all these teams are waiting for KD to decide or the Nets to decide if they're trading him.
There's a tweet on the Cam Reddish trade. Y'all remember Mike Schmitz works for the team, right? Is that just going to be an excuse every time we get a young player who isn't good and is, well, Mike Schmitz works for the team, so you should trust him.
Guys, we salary dumped Hart, got under the tax further, saved some money, and got a first, so we could have set up another move, but now what's the point of doing that move? Chris Brandlin with the 12-month member message. Thank you, Chris. Stay strong, Uprise Nation. Things will get better. Yeah. Michael asks, why the down energy, guys? I mean...
Did you see the thumbnail on the title?
The Suns just traded for Kevin Durant. How are we supposed to compete with them? Like,
yeah.
What's there to be excited about? Now, like... I feel like we're going to make a dumb move now tomorrow and it'll be pointless and we just gave up our future on top of not being a contender still. And then, or, this, yeah. Dude, Andy, we don't know. Like, he was just traded to the Nets. We have no clue. No one knows how much the Nets value any of their players they got in trades, if they're even available. If not, I mean, I hope. I mean, Cronin has to do his due diligence. If he doesn't, he should be fired immediately. But I mean, no one has a grasp after a trade just happens on what the new team would want for a player or what would take to get a deal done or whatever. It's just tough. I mean, we talked about this at length. We both love to have Mikal, but I don't know if they're even willing to trade him or if you call him or whatever, but definitely call him. Do y'all believe getting Siakam would put us back in the mix? Nope. I don't.
Yeah.
Before because at this point we probably have to go up Simons now, and so we're just like shifting.
I mean, here's the thing. It seems like stars and super teams aren't as OP as they used to be. I mean, maybe for whatever reason, Phoenix isn't as good as they seem like they will be. Maybe. Probably not. They'll probably be really freaking good, but... like, KD, Kyrie, and James Harden didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I feel I shouldn't throw Westbrook in here, but the Westbrook AD LeBron thing didn't work out.
Yeah.
Like, you have a lot better offensive role players in the league than you did like 5 to 10 years ago, in my opinion. And offenses are more team-based than they used to be in the past. It's not just like, oh, you just get one star and he's going to make you have an overpowered offense. So... I mean, Suns are the favorite. Suns are absolutely the favorite in the West now. Absolutely. Like, if I had to pick a team going to the finals, I'd pick the Suns for sure. But, I mean, we have seen super teams kind of struggle a little bit, so we'll see.
Also, I mean, they just traded a bunch of players for one. They got TJ Warren to score off the bench now. They still have Torrey Craig for defense, for those asking about defense. And no doubt they are going to be major players in the buyout market. We already have seen... this owner isn't messing around. He is going all in. He will cut players and sign new ones if they fit better. I don't think he's going to be afraid to do that. So anyone that's bought out or that could possibly help them or ring chase, they're gonna do what it takes to sign them. So I don't see that being a problem here in a couple weeks after the buyout market develops. But yeah. Bubba says their owner said I'm the captain now. He sure did, man. He came in today, that weird press conference or whatever. But yeah, he definitely
press conference.
He seemed like a weird snake oil salesman, yeah. like a con man kind of. But like, I mean, he put his money where his mouth was today. So I mean, he came in. This is like his first or second day on the job, and he said he was going to go all out, and he doesn't care what it takes, and he was going to spend money, and he certainly did that today. So, yeah. I mean, I don't even know if they would want Barton. I could still see us getting Will Barton in the final market, but yeah.
Uh, anyway, well, crap. I wish we had a Oder come in like that and in one day trade for a superstar. That would be awesome.
Like, how hyped would it be if, like, 2 years from now we traded for Giannis or something after Phil Knight became our owner? That's the next day we have, like, he gets approved as owner, and the next day we have Phil Knight like trading everything but Dame to lock up Giannis.
They
And
still got Ayton and Chris Paul, so it's like we'd have Dame, Grant, Ant, and Giannis. Like, yeah. Like we trade Sharp or whatever, but in 4 first. Yeah, you guys would see me happier than I've ever been on stream.
shout out to Pimp named Slickback for a $5 donation. The Suns made a really risky trade. I personally wouldn't put them ahead of Boston or Bucks. They don't have any defense or depth. Good luck.
I mean, they might not be a top 10 defense, but offensively, I think they're probably a top 3 offense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the thing is how good is their defense, Eric? That's like the only question mark with them. Because TJ Warren's not a good defender. Well, I mean, Devin Booker is blah. Chris Paul at this point of his career, I don't think he's good anymore. Ayton
still
can be
decent,
solid, but I mean, that might...
If he's locked in. KD's a good defender.
KD's a good defender.
Booker's actually an underrated defender.
But he's not better than average, right?
He's slightly better than average. I'd say he's average at worst, yeah.
I mean, that's like a slightly above average defense, it seems like.
Yeah.
It's probably like 10 to 15 range. But it could be top 10. If it's top 10, then that's a problem.
Yeah. Biomba's a good rim protector at the bench.
And Craig they got, but...
Yeah, Torrey Craig.
I mean, that's the question.
You hate Torrey Craig, but he's a good defender. And they could still...
He is a good defender. What are you talking about?
They could still make some other moves.
Yeah, I mean, Okogie's good defensively, but he's awful offensively, so... Would I rather have Biyombo or Eubanks? Robbie, you know the answer to that. They don't even have Dwayne Washington anymore.
Yeah, they cut him the other day for Saban Lee.
Yeah. Trevin, shut up. Was this trade a continuation of last playoffs beef with the Mavs? What do you mean? The Suns trade? I think they're just trying to get as good as possible. I don't think it has anything to do with the Mavs.
They saw an opportunity to get a superstar, and they got him. I mean, that's simple as that. And I don't think it's... I mean, obviously, if they win a title last year, I don't think they go all in for KD because they're good enough to win a title, and that's all that really matters. But, yeah. Yeah, they still have Starks expiring. I don't think they could trade any future first now, but they could make something happen.
At least we're not Timberwolves fans. That's a good point.
Still have Dame to root for.
See, if Dame wasn't so loyal and there was like questions, it'd be easier to sit here and be like, okay, well, let's just freaking completely start a rebuild. But, dude, like, what? So we start a rebuild, but then by the time we get off the ground with the rebuild, like, OKC and Utah have super teams because they have 1 million first-round picks apiece. Like, you know what I mean? That's the thing, is the teams that are tanking are doing it right, too. They are going hard for the tank. Well, Utah kind of screwed up today, but still, they have a bunch of picks. So does OKC.
And Barking Boxes is their window. Hey, what's up, Sean, by the way? Is their window be kind of small with how old CP is? I mean, you can get point guards. They'll have ring chasers. They'll have the MLE to work with this summer. Like, I don't know. I think they're fine. Did they use the MLE this year? They didn't, right? Because they were waiting for a trade to sign someone. Oh no, they they signed. Who did they end up signing?
Who are you talking about?
The Suns. The Suns.
Uh,
Because remember they didn't use it for a
they
long
didn't
time
use
and
it.
there was no one.
No, I
So
don't think they used it at all.
they actually still have the tax mid-level exception to sign someone this year. Like if their owner is willing to pay more tax. So
Which they probably are.
yeah. No, I think Craig was under contract still. I think that was last year, if I'm not mistaken.
This is fun. Anyway, we'll be live again tomorrow morning. With the trade deadline stream.
Yeah, I really like what the Nets are doing, Matt. He said Cam Thomas has been playing out of his mind, and Mikal Bridges are solid pieces. They have a pretty good nucleus, but I still think I don't know what they need exactly, but I still think they need to make a move. I don't think like Fred VanVleet makes sense anymore. Get a young point guard with that group and.
Yeah, Raptors are the team to watch tomorrow, by the way.
Dro says, Eric, do you like what my other team is doing? Daddy Luca gonna show up. Suns can't stop him.
Why did you even read that? Dro got issues.
No, I don't.
You're
like
gonna get out of here, then, Dro. You're not a Blazer fan? I thought you were a Blazer fan. What do you mean your other team? You walking out like that?
The other day. You missed it.
Well, he can get gone then. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Here with that crap.
But they did. But no, that Suns team never had KD, so whatever. But anyways, yeah, supporting two teams in the same conference is weak anyway.
Yeah, very weak.
But no, Luka's a great player and stuff. But I don't think Kyrie really helps him that much. Two guys who kind of need their ball in the hand. So what happens to Ben Simmons now? I wouldn't be surprised if they found some way to dump him. I think, yeah. Trade him back to the 76ers for Tobias Harris. There you go.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah.
Antonio, Simmons for Nurk doesn't come close. Nurk makes less than half of Simmons' contract, so
yeah, I'm tired of answering questions. Just go on the trade machine and put it through the trade machine. If it doesn't go through, then they'll tell you why. Also, I don't know why you'd want Ben Simmons. Anyway, I'm tired. I'm going to get cranky on stream, which isn't the best thing. I got to do some graphics still for tomorrow, and we've been live for almost 5 hours straight. So, subscribe to NBA Uprise. That's our NBA channel. If you're not a Blazer fan, subscribe to that channel because I'm doing general NBA stuff over there. We'll have some trade deadline grades, videos, and stuff over there. There's a link in the description box below, NBA Uprise. And also, you can buy watch party tickets to our watch party on Monday in the Portland area for Blazers versus Lakers if you want to come meet up with us. Maybe punch me in the face. No, just kidding. There's good food, big projector screen, that sort of thing. So check out the links, our Discord servers in the description below as well. And anything else for this stream, Eric?
No, just look for everyone to see what the final domino in that Blazer trade is, whether it's simply cutting Greg Brown or if we bring in another team and make another move. Still holding out hope that that's something they do. But I think at this point, I'm now fine with getting a first for Hart and just kind of semi-punting on the season, even though it's a frustrating move, and I'm sure Dame's frustrated. I kind of think you just regroup in the summertime and see what your options are, see how good that Suns team ended up being, and go wait from there. But hope they can still pull off some moves. The Nets have a ton of wings. I would love one of them. Hopefully they get one of them tomorrow. But I'm not like banking on it or getting my hopes up or anything. But yeah, so thank you everyone for watching. I hope you all have a great few hours until our stream in the morning, and hope you all join us tomorrow. It's going to be fun talking about other trades that happen, and just kind of hanging out and talking about stuff. And then unfortunately after tomorrow, streams, if you like talking about trades, get a little boring because we don't really have that to talk about anymore. So we actually have to talk about the games. And if the Blazers aren't doing well, that's going to be even bad like last year. So then it becomes tankathon streams or whatever. So we'll still have fun and try to keep it interesting. But yeah, join us because tomorrow's usually one of the most fun days of the year as an NBA fan, just like seeing what moves teams make, why they make them. We try to keep up on that kind of stuff. Tori's been doing a great job over on NBA Uprise with talking about a lot on other teams' payrolls and trade suggestions for teams outside of the Blazers as well. So we do try to keep informed on why other teams make moves or what they're looking for to accomplish in trades as well. So hope you guys appreciate that and join us tomorrow, at least for a little bit of our stream.
Yep. Stream tomorrow about 9 hours from now ish, 8 to 9 hours. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your night. And we'll catch you tomorrow and see if the Blazers do anything else, see what else happens across the league. This was technically the Blazers Uprise postgame show presented by BetOnline. Obviously, the Kevin Durant trade did derail it, but check out BetOnline. Use the promo code BELIEVE, BLEAV, for a 50% reward bonus. You can have some fun on Blazer basketball with live betting, parlays, any sort of betting you want. Of course, bet responsibly and all that. But yeah, you got the Super Bowl coming up, All-Star game, baseball season in a couple months. So check out BetOnline. With that being said, that's a wrap. We're out of here. Were you about to say something else?
I was going to say, if a trade happens between now and 8 a.m., obviously we'll come back on. So
better not, but I might not sleep tonight. We'll see. Anyway, have a good rest of your nights, everyone. Until next time, as always, you know what it is. Peace out.